Hey, good Tuesday, I guess I should say. I was about to say good Monday, but it's not Monday. I, of course, am your friend, your neighbor, Mr. Bill Sylvie, aka the Dungeon Delver. It's good to see you all. It's good to be seen by you all. And I hope you're doing all right. Sorry for nipping out last night. The last couple of days have been hella crazy, but I appreciate everyone sticking around to watch the show. And if you're one of the folks who've just subscribed recently, thank you very much. Welcome aboard. It's good to see you all. Anyway, I have just been fighting a little bit of a computer issue. Not a bad one, actually. I got my daughter a new computer monitor, and it arrived right when we started getting ready to go live. So yeah, that was kind of a hot mess. Tomorrow is a little bit up in the air. I think tomorrow should be just fine. Greetings, P Cybers. Good to see you, Lord Corion, Jack Photon. I think tomorrow should be normal. A return to a degree of normalcy. However, I don't know. I can't say for sure. My wife's illness is taking its toll, so we're just kind of, playing it by ear. Let me see. Make sure that I've got everything pulled up and ready to roll. Greetings, Luther. Good to see you. Imperial Ramblings, good to see you too. But anyway, so we'll approach that at the appropriate time. Now, we are going to start. Let me see here. We are going to start talking about Expedition of the Barrier Peaks today. I don't know how deep we're going to get into it in the time we have allotted, but assuming everything goes normally. Oof. Well, thank you for stopping by, Imperial Ramblings. Good luck. God bless. Assuming everything goes normally tomorrow, then we should have lots of time to dig deeper into S3. As it is, we're going to cover it. We're going to talk a little bit about it, what it is, and all the weirdness, and why myself and Luther have been so keen to talk about Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Because if there is any module published by TSR that deserves the S appellation, S standing for special, it is this module, and we're going to see why here in just a little bit. Also, if you're new, if you're just stopping by for the first time, you should also be aware. That we happen to play a little first edition AD&D around these parts on Tuesday nights, and we kind of enjoy it. And it is, it's the real deal, folks. There's no scripting. There's no pre-plotted arcs. This is as far as 4d6, drop lowest, arranged to taste, will take us. We got a good group of players, and we're going to jump into that here in a little while tonight. And if any of my players are listening, yes, I will send you the studio invite. I kind of wish you could permanent that, but it's different for every instance. And it gets a little weird with scheduling. The module for people who don't love classic dungeon crawls, and yet in itself, it does have some classic dungeon crawl elements. But One of the things that I love the module for, and we'll talk about this some as we get into it, is if you were a DM back in 1980 and you loved D&D, you liked the mechanics, for whatever reason, D&D was your jam. It was your comfort zone. And let's be honest, why wouldn't it be, right? Of course it is. Of course it is. If that was your thing back in the day, and you didn't have Gamma World, or you thought Gamma World was a bit too much, S3 plus the Mutants and Magic section in the Dungeon Master's Guide, and we'll get into this. I'll explain this, was a gateway for the intrepid DM to build their own D&D science fiction game. I don't mean sending D&D characters into a science fiction setting, which is what this is. Greetings, Dungeon Minister. Good to see you. How are you this evening, Padre? It is a good module for people who love Gamma World. I assume that's what you mean by GW and not Games Workshop, whom we don't like. But assuming that this is a thing that you as a DM are trying to accomplish, all you need is a copy of S3 and a little bit of imagination, but it does a lot of heavy lifting for you. So George Washington, or Gateway, if you remember the spotted cow computers from the 90s. So we're going to see all of that and more as we dive deep into it. Now, let me just say straight up, this is a beast of a module. This is like D1, D2, and D3, all in a single module in terms of heft. We're going to be here a while. We'll be in S4 for a while, and its ancillary module, WG4, and I'll explain that later. But yeah, White Plume Mountain was an afternoon at Disney World. This is something completely different. So we're going to get into that here in just a little bit. I do want to say that I went down and did free RPG day at Gods and Monsters. And, you know, I'm always wowed by how awesome they are to me down there. I love it. They're great folks. Todd and Anna are awesome people. Sorry, I just want to make sure everybody's getting the game invite. No, Todd and Anna are fantastic people. The Epcot Center of D&D. Yeah, Damien, that's a good example. So Todd and Anna set me up. I got there. There was a table already out, chairs already out. All I had to do was set up and wait for players, which were few, unfortunately. But the group we had was very good, and I want to give them proper thanks here on the show, just in case maybe they're watching. I want to thank folks for stopping by. Let me see here. Of course, Catherine Beebe, thank you for stopping by. Justin Lucero and Michaela Martin. And then there were two other folks who also popped in. Justin had to go, but two folks, and I probably heard your names, but I got memory like Swiss cheese. I apologize. They came in, sat in for Tales from the Loop, and that was a lot of fun. So, you know, I had a lot of stuff out, Dwarven Forge pieces, miniatures, the works. It was a lot of fun. If you guys are interested in the adventure, the actual adventure that I ran, it's a little something, a little borrowed from here or borrowed from there, a Lovecraft Dreamlands sort of thing. Let me know. Maybe I'll put it together in a fashion by which you guys can enjoy that. I've done that before. That is, later published things that I ran as events. So just let me know if that sounds like something that you'd like. But anyway, so that was Saturday. I came home Sunday and I was just beat tired. I locked up the car tight as a drum, left all my D&D stuff inside, said a quick prayer. The good Lord wouldn't hubris me and have my car get broken into by one of the junkies that lives down the street from us. But no, everything was intact. And I came out and offloaded the car. And I've spent the last couple of days sorting things out. When I take up all the Dwarven Forge and so on after an event, if it's not the resin stuff, if it's the ABS plastic, the Dwarvenite, I just dumping it into boxes. I don't care. And sometimes even the resin stuff, if it's the right size, I don't care if it goes with a particular set, it just gets put into a set. And that's all there is to it. So I had to go through and find out which sets were incorrectly packed and pack all them up and then dig through all the miniatures and put them in the right boxes and baggies. So it's a lot of fun to do a show, as it were. But I mean, I've never been in a band, clearly, but I can only imagine like coming off of a tour, just all your stuff is packed away. You don't even want to look at it. You just want to come and flop on the couch and not do anything. And that's kind of how I was. I saw, what was it? It was a few years ago. And I was watching that show, American Pickers, and I bitched about American Pickers before for many different reasons. But they went to the house of one of the guys from Cheap Trick. And if you're a fan of Cheap Trick, or even if you just heard them in passing, you know, of course, that Cheap Trick has that great live version of I Want You to Want Me. And it was their kind of breakout hit because it was from their show in Japan at Budokan. Cheap Trick live at Budokan. I think that's how you say it. I apologize if that's not right. But, you know, the Japan tour was huge. It propelled them to fame. And so this guy had cases of stuff. This was in 2010, 2011. He had cases of belongings that he had not opened. So he told them he had not opened since then. And they're like, oh my gosh, can we look through that? And I got to be honest, a lot of it was dirty laundry. But there were like tour shirts and just stuff crammed in every corner and so on and et cetera. And of course, they got some of it, you know, some rarities. And I think they ended up getting, they convinced him to let one of his guitars go, so on and et cetera. But it was, I don't know that I would leave things for nearly 40 years packed away, but damn, Sunday, I was not feeling it. Dungeon Minister says, Strike Night in theater, tearing down the set and sometimes loading the next, exhaustion on a plate. That, he's the guitarist, right? He plays Hamer guitars. has the one that it's a double neck that is basically it's him. He has like a cartoon of himself as one of his guitars. Because if so, then that's him. Damien says, I prefer Mighty Wings. Mighty Wings is a good song. For me, I mean, I Want You to Want Me is an okay song, but Dream Police, Born to Raise Hell, which is a very rare track that they recorded originally for the animated film Rock and Roll. What is it? Tonight It's You, I think, is a better track than I Want You to Want Me. Surrender is another good one. Let's see. Jack Photon says, I left a $2,000 robot overnight in my car other day after an event. I was so beat, counted on it looking like junk and weighing near 100 pounds to keep it safe. Happily still there. Yeah. Yes, so it was Rick Nielsen. Thank you, P. Cybers. Dungeon Ministers is, yikes, it's a Pixar movie waiting to happen. I can't relax afterward if I'm not unpacked after a camping trip. I get it, but damn, when I come in, man, I just like, Now, one thing that I will that I will secure 100%, I bring my books in. Not because I think someone would steal them and hawk them. I think someone would steal them and use them for rolling papers. I think someone would steal them and then out of spite destroy them because they didn't get a laptop. So I will bring my books in. And if I take any big centerpiece painted metal minis, those come in. Because I don't want to come out the next morning bleary-eyed, grab a box, they shift and fall and break or chip. Luther, as a DM, I can't relax for hours after a game session too, Kita. Yeah, same. I mean, I had what kind of drains off that keyed up feeling when I leave, because, you know, I was there from 11 to 11. But what drains that off is the rather white knuckle drive home up Interstate 4. So I want to take one more minute, just because we did skip Monday and we do a mail call. This was kind of special because I've never met any of you face to face, and I got to meet one of you face to face. Doom Sword, who is a Florida resident, stopped by the store while I was running the event. He unfortunately did not have the time, but we got a little mail call from Doom Sword. I got this little jewel right here to complement my newer Jeff Easley Dungeon Master screen. And that is a crisp looking DM screen there with the classic TSR font. And over on the back, of course, we have Trampy's. So I did not have one of these. And that is the one that Eddie has in Stranger Things Season 4. So I was very grateful to get these. Thank you so very much. And hopefully we'll get to game together. I know there's more of you out there in the Florida area, and maybe a face-to-face DelverCon is something that should happen, or Delver's Game Day. We can just kind of hone in on Gods and Monsters for that. And hey, don't take my word for it. Doom Sword, Gods and Monsters. Am I right? That's where it's at. It's the humidity that brings down the melting point of pewter. Yeah, no kidding. Well, it's not that. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely not the temp that I was worried about. So much as the theft. A buddy of mine lost a briefcase, or really just like a messenger bag full of modules that he left in his car overnight. He lived in the Chicagoland area, fist through window, bag out, modules gone forever. Hello, Mobius. Good to see you. So, in the overall, a good time. Get off that. In the overall, a good time was had. Free RPG day. If you've never gone to your local comic store, or if they're just like, yeah, we'll just give you some free swag, and that's it. Offer to do a free RPG day. Run some classic D&D. That's what I did. Greets Mobius, if I didn't greet you. No sensation like gaming. Why the hell doesn't everyone do it? Exactly. If there is anything better in tabletop gaming than actually tabletop gaming, it's talking about great adventures. And that's what we're going to do for the next little while. So let's, without further ado, because there's been much ado, let us take a crack here. Let us take a gander and look at Dungeon Module S3 Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. And I apologize, this scan is kind of potchkeyed. Now, as always, you can get this. Actually, you can get this in print in a few different formats. I showed you guys the hardback Dungeons of Dread, which it is in. Now, for the most part, for Dungeons of Dread, I'm all in. I think Dungeons of Dread is a great compilation. Unfortunately, Wizards did not go the extra mile and give us color plates for the illustrations, because some of the illustration plates in S3 are actually high gloss color. Honest, for production values, I think it was a high watermark for TSR to give us those colored plates. And we're gonna see those in this not great scan, but we'll get to those. But you can get it in Dungeons of Dread. There's also, and you can kind of see it over my shoulder, there is a hardback copy that there's a 5e version in it, and then there's a couple of variant 1e versions in it. And I think Jeff Leeson, I could be wrong. We've kind of done a bit of an D&D Antiques Roadshow on that module. Goodman Games, yes, it's a giant school textbook size thing. I'm disappointed in it. I'm disappointed in it because it was supposed to have the original tournament version of S3 included, and it did not. It did not. So, unfortunately, if you get that Goodman version, you're getting an interview from someone at TSR who did map layouts and did a lovely job. Don't get me wrong. And it's nice information to hear. Now, the interior cover wraps are by Errol Otis, and they're brand new art that they commissioned from Errol, which is really awesome in its own way. But content-wise, for a 1E guy, there's not much more there. You can, pardon me, you can also get a PDF of S1 to 4 Realms of Horror. I've talked about why Realms of Horror is bad, and you shouldn't waste your time and money on it. Don't bother with S1 to 4 Realms of Horror unless you're some weirdo completist, because you can get the individual PDF, you can get Dungeons of Dread, or you can get this thing from Goodman for like 75 or 80 bucks. So, what is in S3, Bill? I hear you asking. Why aren't you starting it, Bill? I hear Luther Pendragon demanding. Let's take a look into Expedition of the Barrier Peaks. Now, true confession, this is one of the first D&D modules I ever saw. I saw for advanced D&D game over in the corner there in this big slash here. But then I see dudes with ray guns. Their stuff just looks all organic too. They're fighting this Sarlacc looking guy. I was 11. I was not aware of hentai. Don't make the jokes. And I was like, whoa, is this what D&D is? Because we got wizards and a fighter, but then we got a fighter with a space helmet on. He's on the verge of getting eaten, or she, maybe. So what does the cover tell us about it? This module was the official Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Tournament scenario at Origins 2. The author wishes to express his thanks to Mr. Robert Kuntz, who contributed substantial ideas for the various encounters herein. This version has been carefully revised and updated to conform to Advanced Dungeons & Dragons game systems. Included herein are background information for players, statistics for a party substantially the same as that used for the tournament, DM notes, 6 level maps, with encounter matrices and numerous full-color illustrations of scenes from the adventure in order to enhance the enjoyment of participants. There are also many new and special monsters designed for this scenario, and they appear nowhere else. This module is located upon the map of the World of Greyhawk fantasy setting from DSR. So, for one of the first times, a published D&D module specifically places itself in the World of Greyhawk. And we get color plates. I'm just all a quiver with anticipation. Let's find out what this module is. Well, okay. You want me to just knock through it in the 15 or 20 minutes we've got, Luther? Look at this. This is a level map. We're going to come back to these, and I got to get a better skin in here. That is pure glaucoma vision. But look at that. That's one level. That massive, massive level. Look at that. And it's not just a dungeon. Drop tubes, violet card door, orange card, yellow card, jet black card, dimly lit areas, unlit areas, other card doors. You got to be ready for some serious stuff here. So let's keep going. Level 2, more weirdness. Oh, and look at that. Let me just flip that over so you guys don't break your necks. EGG. Gary put his own initials right there in the module map. Let me see. There we go. Go away. Level 3. Oh, yes, there's more. We haven't even gotten to the text. Level 4. Inside the ship with an outdoor area. Level 5. Level 6, which is like entertainment area. And then there's the back cover. You must be thinking, surely that's not it. No, it's not. Another lovely piece by Jim Rosseloff. Jim had the best D&D art, man. Not the best, but he was one of the masters. He is the egg of Coot. So here we go into the body of it. Another great picture by Errol showing weird monsters, adventurers using weird weapons. That is some disco sci-fi right there. Am I right, guys? Waka chicka, waka chicka. All right. So we've already read that. So the history. We're gonna read into the history a little bit, and then we're gonna jump into the background and the Dungeon Master's information only. But I'm not gonna read every word because, again, this is a big boy. This is a chunky boy. This module was begun in early 1976 when TSR was contemplating publication of a science fantasy role-playing game. Jim Ward had already shown us some rough notes on Metamorphosis Alpha. I thought it would be a splendid idea to introduce Jim's game at Origins 2 and introduce the concept to the tournament introduce the concept to D&D players by means of the old tournament scenario. I laid out the tournament from old Castle Greyhawk campaign material involving a spaceship, and Rob Coons helped me to populate the ruined vessel. Note, ruined vessel. Both this scenario and Metamorphosis Alpha proved successful, but while the latter has been continually available since mid-1976, only a few copies of the tournament dungeon used for Origins 2 have been around. Metamorphosis Alpha is currently being rewritten and expanded for a major new edition, and Gamma World game is highly popular too. Now, as far as I'm aware, we never got a new edition of Metamorphosis Alpha under TSR, but if I'm wrong, I'm sure you guys will chime in and let me know. Oh, that is a great song, Tragedy by the Bee Gees. Love it. What could be more logical than to make available a scenario which blends the two role-playing approaches into a single form? Now designed to be playable with advanced Dungeons & Dragons rules, the Expedition of the Barrier Peaks will serve as both an exciting insertion into your campaign and as a primer on how to combine science into your fantasy role-playing. I hope that you will enjoy reading and playing it as much as I enjoyed writing it. So right off the bat, Gary is telling us this is how you can insert science into your AD&D game. So see, it's not just me. It's not just something I'm making up saying, oh, hey, yeah, you should totally do this. Right there, Gary says that's what this is for. It's a primer on how to do it. And of course, there's information about where it's at. And the poor Grand Duchy of Jeff, if you're using the location of the giant attacks, Jeff has been beset by giants, drow, possibly a demonic incursion by Loth herself, and now they got to deal with a spaceship. What did you have against the Grand Duchy there, Gary? So essentially what we've got going on is lots of attacks by weird monsters. Party, go find out what's happening. Unconfirmed reports have related that monsters have been disgorged from a gated cave at random intervals. The entrance to this place is high up on a rocky face and sheathed in armor. This protection has purportedly frustrated all attempts to explore the space beyond the metal valve. Although several search parties have entirely disappeared, so it is possible they entered but never returned. Your expedition must find out exactly what this cave is, what is causing the monsters to come forth, who is responsible, and how to prevent further incursions. In addition, any other information regarding this mysterious locale, its strange denizens, magical devices, or unusual weaponry is highly desirable. His High Radiance, Owen III, has assured all of the concerned parties that whatever information is gained will be given to all, and wealth found will be shared according to the contribution each individual or representative group makes to the overall success of the expedition. If necessary, the Grand Duke has vowed to send forth an army to lay waste to the offending place and extinguish every living thing therein. Should your expedition not meet with total success, this step will be considered, but His High Radiance personally doubts such extreme measures will be required, considering the strength of the expedition and the ability of its members. Remember, this is for character levels, I think it's 8 to 10. Page 10. 8 to 12. So yeah, His High Radiance there is definitely definitely putting his faith in the right group. So, notes for the Dungeon Master only. After your players have had a chance to digest the background information, have them order the party in the manner they desire. Open field order, 20-foot corridor order, and 10-foot corridor order. If they are to take the personae of the characters originally used, pass out sheets so they may record the data. Each participant can play the role of 1, 2, or even 3 of the characters. Do not be surprised if one or more of the better players are suspicious of what they're about to get into, for the discerning will have noted the hints given the introduction. Be certain that you are quite familiar with the entire module and read each encounter section carefully. Let me pump the brakes here. I know I say this a lot. I said this about the G series, the D series, absolutely about Q1, S1, and S2. Guys, if you ignored every other admonishment of mine to read those modules through, you're like, I winged it. I did fine. Bill Sylvie's a blowhard who's in love with the sound of his own voice. Don't do that here. You, the DM, will be just as lost as players will if you try and wing it through this module. Gary's not playing here. Read this module front to back. Every bit of information you can glean as a DM will help you from either completely wiping out the party or turning this into a cakewalk. You don't want either scenario. You don't want your players coming out the other end armed to the teeth with power armor, energy discs, torque grenades, black ray guns, disruptor rifles, etc. Because at that point, they're going to replay the High Crusade. They're going to steamroll. At that point, you might as well say, I'm going to close my notes. Guys, it was a lovely campaign. I'm going to hand the DMing over to Bob. We're going to start with first level characters in his campaign world. Trust me on this. Don't skip your homework. The alternate scenario is the party walks in and completely unexpected to you, they're dead in 2 encounters. Now, if you're using the pre-gens, that's fine. You can have a laugh about it and say, oh, this is bad as Tomb of Horrors. And maybe even start over. If it's their characters that they have taken a long time to get to where they can play a module of this degree of complexity and difficulty, you're going to have some sore heads at the table. Now, players die. I mean, there's places in the opening of Tomb of Horrors, remember, where players can be destroyed right off the bat. Same thing. Long-term campaign characters, that may lead to some bruised feelings. Suggested party size 10 to 15 PCs. Exactly. So one of the first things we note is that there are darkly screened areas, no light or dim light, 60-foot vision range. Lightly screened areas, bright light. Unscreened areas, on-off lights. Exception, all between deck areas are unlit, and level 4 has alternating light and dark periods. There's some characters looking at the side of the ship with a landslide over it. And it's standard scale, but now this is something, if you're a fan of Doom, as I am, and I can't help but wonder if John Romero, when he was working on Doom, didn't look back at this and decide, hey, colored key cards are pretty awesome. Because your players aren't just walking through doing the walk up to a Star Trek door kind of thing. I love that sound, by the way. I can't make it, but you know what I'm talking about in the classic Star Trek. It's a kind of squeak as the doors open, which were always opened by people. There were 2 stagehands. They were pulling ropes. The doors were on rollers. And of course, in post, they added the sound effect. Anyway, there's a host of key cards parties have to acquire to be able to open doors. Gray, red, yellow, orange, violet, brown, and black. No green. Whenever the party approaches a standard door, display illustration number 1. There's some doors which will open merely by pressing upon the panel beside them, and such portals are indicated by the standard door symbol. Open doors are shown with drop chutes are described in the matrix to level 1. The upside is always towards a ship's hull. Down is always towards the interior. This is coded U and D respectively. Drop chutes with full anti-gravity are coded with the letter A in the center, and these tubes are brightly lit. Those in which the anti-gravity is not functioning, but in which the grass panels are still move, are coded with the letter G in the center to indicate that gravity is in effect. Those tubes are only dimly lit. Non-functioning drop chutes are coded with the letter N. They have no anti-gravity, nor do the handles move, and they are completely dark. Drop chutes are illustrated on the map thus. See what I mean? Look at this. Here, let me zoom this in. This is what I'm talking about. If you're just cracking this open and you didn't read this beforehand, you're not going to know what that is. And then we have illustrations of a tube. Radiation. Surprise, surprise. Now we get to the mutants part. So there, your D&D characters can take radiation damage. Ain't that fresh? Don't you love it? It really is Gamma World, yeah. But if you want to put sci-fi in your D&D games, I mean, just straight up convert your D&D to a sci-fi game. This is the module. So let's look at some of these illustrations that we've been told to look at, because we come over to the start. No. I want to read the spaceship because this is actually kind of heartbreaking. It's kind of tragic. Hey, Bill, does it ever say what the spaceship actually was? There are black cards for passengers, colonists. A little bit of that, Luther. A little bit of that, and I'm glad you asked. Sometime else, a large exploration colonization expedition of human origin was overtaken in the course of its journey by a deadly plague. In a vain effort to halt the spread of the virus, the modular section of the vessels were sealed and then separated, each left to its own fate. The section concerned here was drawn through a black hole and spewed into the universe where the world of Greyhawk fantasy setting exists. Chance brought it to that very planet, and its computers and robotics brought it to an intact landing. Sorry, the OCR is not great. This process, however, caused an earth tremor and a landslide buried the ship section for several decades. Then a computer malfunction sent worker robots to a cargo hatch to discharge material. And when these robots found the hatch blocked by fallen earth and stone, they promptly cleared it and unloaded the requisite cargo. Unfortunately for the inhabitants of the area, for the holds contained various alien fauna and flora, and the offloading freed these creatures from stasis. Some died immediately, some lived for a time, and a few species prospered and propagated. Recently, another earthquake uncovered an upper airlock, and the tremor caused the same computer malfunction, so the worker robots again cleared the lower cargo deck and periodically discharged more of the unwanted goods. So what you'll find as we explore this, and we'll look at it now, Luther hit on something pretty important early on. It could potentially take months to go through this module. We are going to go in order, but we're not going to stop everywhere. We're not going to look at each and every room because a lot of rooms are duplicates, and it's just like refer to this for any rooms like this. Oh, good quote from Dune there, Robert. So let's look at a few illustrations. We've talked about the illustrations. Let's take a gander at some of those illustrations as we get ready to jump into D&D here in a little bit. So let us zip down to the illustration book. Does this scan have the illustration book? This scan does not have the illustration book. So I'm going to have to get the official, actual, better PDF of this. And we will be looking at those illustrations the next time we talk. Yeah, exactly, Luther. I mean, there's a few areas in this dungeon, as it were, for lack of a better term, that really do merit discussion. And in my opinion, some interesting points where there are pieces of, for lack of a better term, technology that it would be very advantageous for your parties to liberate. And I'm not just talking about ray guns and power armor and grenades and so on, but we'll see those when we get to them. So we'll get the illustration booklet version in and look at those. I'll get a nice tomorrow, if I have to scan my copy so we can get a better look at it, we will. So we do have a Wandering Monster table. We'll mention that real briefly before we get rolling on AD&D, and of course, the thanking of folks. Wandering Monsters. Of course, it's a dungeon. There's Wandering Monsters. It's 1 in 12, like White Plume Mountain. Encounters occur 1 in 12. Check each turn. But let's look at those monsters. 9 to 16 veg pygmies, with 2 to 5 dog veg pygmies. Illustration number 4. Police robot. Displacer beast. We know what those are at least. Worker robot. Lurker above. Worker robot, 14 to 24 veg pygmies. Shadows, a police robot, 1 to 2 will-o-wisps. This is not your standard dungeon crawl. Now, something I want to address straight away before we wrap this for tonight. And I am going to go ahead and just bring that back over. The question may arise among your players, particularly the more intrepid ones. Can we get the ship working? I think that's a question only you, the dungeon master, can or should attempt to answer. Is the ship entirely derelict? Ruined beyond repair? Could the characters accidentally send it into space again? Could they slowly, over time, learn how some of the systems work? Maybe with wish or alter reality spells? That is up to you, the DM. I feel like if you want to take your game there and your party, I mean, remember, this is for 8 to 12th level characters. Your characters are at that level. You can cure the whole, well, we've hit 9th level and we've established our landholds by whisking them off back into space. Imagine the ship visiting Gamma World. Imagine the ship visiting the world of Tecumel, or into the Star Frontiers world. The item experimentation use of flow charts. Oh, Luther. No, those experimentation charts are nothing compared to like the more difficult charts in Gamma World. These are easy flow charts compared to those. Dungeon Minister says, I think it can be made, if it can be made to work, it would need to launch off planet into a place where there are other ships. Otherwise, it's goodbye, Greyhawk. Yeah, potentially. Okay, so it's that time of night, speaking of Greyhawk, when we travel over yonder. So let's go have a gander. Oh, no. See, I like the experimentation flowcharts. I think they're awesome. Similar to Amulet of the Plains, just go to new places. I'll have to tell the tale of Pentrim someday. Would love to hear it, Jack. Would love to hear it. So I want to take a quick minute, speaking of going places, to go over here to our thank you roster and thank some folks who donate to the show. You literally help keep the lights on, guys. I can't appreciate that enough. As much as I do appreciate it, really, really awesome. So let me just take a minute to say thank you to Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword Deathmaster, Mark Simpson, Damien247, James F. Keck, William Smith, the Dungeon Minister. I see you, Padre. Thank you. Manny Wall, we miss you, Manny. Would love to see you in the audience again, buddy. Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob knows I can't say that, Chillis. Jeremy Rule, haven't seen around in a while, would love to. Bo Ganora, Mikey Mank, Sky Hernstrom, Pete Sullivan, and John David. Thank you all so very much for helping out around here. And we are on both Patreon and Subscribestar. So if you're new to the show and you're like, hey, how could I help out? Right there across the bottom, you can check out one of those two methods. I keep meaning to do YouTube memberships. I'm going to do it. I promise. So if you want to do it that way, you'll be able to do it in the next little bit. But thank you to all those. Thanks for all these shows. Wouldn't have thought I'd never go for this long format stuff. Oh, okay. Alrighty. So with all that falderall said, let's play some first edition AD&D and let us welcome our players to the table. We have TK, Mark, Lynx the Fighter, and Doomsword. Good evening, gentlemen. How are you?
What's up?
I trust you are all well this evening. It is good to see you, one and all.
Ready for a quick shopping montage, I guess.
I'm ready for a long shopping montage.
Yeah, we gotta sell shit.
Multiple cities. We're hopping multiple cities, and I'm walking into every Thieves Guild along the way.
Wake me when it's over, then.
I love it. So this if this is an 80s movie style shopping montage, we're gonna have the I don't know, what do you think we should have going on in the background? Maybe Goody Two Shoes by Adamant or something like that. All right. Perfect. So what is it in Greyhawk that you wish to sell? Everything.
So it looks like we got a Mercury Silver Potion.
Mm-hmm.
Some clerical magic. We wanted to try and find another cleric. Human or elven plate.
We have clerical magic?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just reading the notes I have last. This is from last session or something.
I don't know. I thought we had a scroll of magic user spells.
Yeah, there was the scroll of magic user
Yeah, that's the
spells.
clerical magic.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the magic user stuff.
Yeah, okay.
And Mark, you wanted to sell all those?
Mark does, Abner doesn't, but it's for the best. So Abner even can admit that it's for the best.
I wish we could
So
at
yes.
least copy them down.
Copying off a scroll makes the scroll go psst, disappears.
Yeah. It just
Old school magic rules.
And also copying them is really expensive, so we'd have to sell it to copy it type thing.
We need the Albert ink or whatever, and you don't
Yeah.
want to know where that comes from.
We also have,
Oh, but I do.
I think, a suit of plate armor that
Yes,
was remarkably light.
Mm-hmm.
but didn't look like mithril or mithril, however you pronounce it.
Yeah.
Well, Abner would have, at some point the next day, done a detect magic and all this stuff, so I'm kind of assuming the plate mail glows.
Yes, the plate mail is magic. So is the silvery liquid in the bottle. Do not listen to Dungeon Ministers. He's trying to send you to your deaths in the Grand Duchy of Jeff. Guys, head to the Grand Duchy of Jeff. There's a spaceship.
Let's go show the giants the spaceship and just cause even more chaos.
Yeah.
Does the gem or the jewelry glow?
No.
Okay. So magic armor. That
Magic
looks like
armor.
yours. That looks like yours, Lynx.
I'll take it. I do want to identify it. So if we're going back to
Yep.
identify it, yep.
Hey, you look like an elf.
Well, you know. I don't
Okay.
have to go back for that.
All right. So are you going to get the armor identified or just wear it and hope for the best?
If we're going back, identify it. There's no reason to fall for a curse this early.
Yeah, but how much does that cost? 1,500, 2,000, 2,500.
Well, we'll go to Robilar and
Well,
actually we should just go to Robilar, try and get it identified for free, and then sell it there.
there was Carl who identified the rod for 300.
Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
he identified the sword. But yes, he cost him 300. So we go visit Carl the Sage, to identify things. I don't know how much cash we have.
We got enough. We got. I gotta give a grand total because it's all in different coinages.
Okay. But so go back. It sounds like go back to Greyhawk, get these identified, sell anything we're not keeping, which is sadly for Abner not the spells. He's going to sell those to Robilar if he wants them. Some of these might be curios as far as he's concerned, and then we could figure out what's going on because Turgo is long overdue to maybe learn how to find traps at some point.
As I say, any of you guys can find traps. Any of you can find
But
traps.
he's the professional.
I'm
We're-
just
We're
especially
merely
good at it.
amateurs at finding traps. Beginner's luck in our case.
Yeah, let's go back. Let's get the jewelry identified. Let's sell the cleric and get the plate mail identified. Then.
So this campaign just took a turn.
will y'all stop trying to get rid of me? First, you're dissatisfied with not having a full cleric, and you're dissatisfied for not having a full fighter. Look,
Are you a cleric? I thought he was talking about somebody else.
are you a thief? You haven't found a single thing yet.
Nah, I'm just a guy, man. I don't know where you got that information from.
Just
He's got
some guy.
He's got a hidey hole somewhere, and that's where all the real treasure is. All right, let's set out on the road because I
Yeah.
think we're still at the Longhouse.
Yep, back to Greyhawk.
Okay. Most of your first day is just slogging through the cold marsh. Most of the frost is off the ground now as the month has continued on. you once you kind of get out into more civilized areas, you do see a small caravan of merchant folk. You think they have large wains and rough and ready men with crossbows and spears and whatnot, sitting or marching or riding alongside it. They regard you cautiously. This is perhaps this is, you kind of come over a hummock and they're nearly 100 yards away in the distance.
They look normal. Nothing out of the ordinary. Like,
they look absolutely normal and not in the least like, rather than a caravan of individuals, it is a long, fleshy mimic. Some horrible
knew what I was going for.
some horrible sort of mockery of everything you know to be sane and normal that will keep you from getting a good night's sleep, probably for the rest of your life. It is nothing like that.
The world's largest human centipede.
Exactly.
Oh, since I died, I got these weird flashbacks all the time. Hail, folks. And I guess we try and walk towards them.
I was going to say avoid them, but sure, you're talking.
Okay. It extends a suit. I mean, a few riders approach you. Hello, come closer. No, nothing so horrible. Although
Come
I did
close
write
to
it.
what?
No, they a few outriders do approach you. Hail, travelers. We see you're coming from the northern marshes. What news?
Castle Greyhawk's always been where it is.
It's cold and wet.
They kind of murmur amongst themselves. Castle Greyhawk, you say? Well, by your outlandish attire, we can see that you are no mere merchants and travelers yourselves. We're making for the Last Chance Inn and thereafter to the city of Greyhawk. We ride with these merchants to provide them protection as necessary. Is there aught you require of the merchants?
What do the merchants look like? Like, do they look like they're hauling grain, or?
You can't really tell from this distance. You're about 100 yards away, and the vanguard of riders that rode out to meet you have kind of formed a skirmish line. They're riding alongside you, but you're not going to be able to turn in closer to the caravan to get a better look. It's just they're 2- and 4-wheeled wains with some of them have loads that are up to the top. Some of it could be grain. Some of it could be fine goods. You don't know.
I suggest we just make our way and leave these good folk to their jobs.
I was going to say we should just go back with them, less chance of getting a random encounter.
But slower.
I think it's adorable that you said that.
Or we can exploit money from them if there is a random encounter.
I'd like to know a little bit more about them. What are they doing out here? And who do they serve? Perhaps they might be able to provide us with some efficiencies later on.
Well, as I say, my good man, we are late of Verbabunk, and taking these good traders to Greyhawk. We provide them with protection. The roads between here and there in this area are fraught with peril.
Indeed.
Yes, bandits, monsters, all that sort of thing.
I've known a bandit or two.
Yes, I bet you have.
Shh.
Ha! I've been a bandit or two.
Not the smartest thing to say.
Yes.
Out of character.
Oh no, I think that was entirely in character.
Yeah, sadly.
Yes, well, be that as it may, we are late for the inn, so as we are traveling in, I presume, the same direction, unless you are going westward towards Verbabonk, I suspect we shall see you further along the road.
We travel the same.
All right. Unless you have any specific request for them as far as stopping the merchants, it is otherwise an uneventful trek back to Greyhawk. Do you stop at the Last Chance Inn and spend a night, or do you just continue on to Greyhawk? Just ride through the night?
One less night on the ground, I think.
So we stop at the inn?
So stop at the inn, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Well, with the merchants and the mercenaries, the inn is full, and it is quite a nice sort of chummy scene. You know, the merchants are having their wine, talking about trading their various wares or buying things to take back to Verbabonk. The coming warm weather, just about anything you could expect merchant folk to talk about.
Do
How much is a room in this place?
Well, right now it's premium, so it's 2 silver a night.
Well, Abner's going to get one for him and his crew.
Okay.
I have 5 silver, so I guess I'll spend it on room and board.
Okay.
No, do we have any idea of what the merchants are talking about? As far as like specifics of what goods they're providing?
Yeah, I'm interested in what they're selling.
If you inquire of any of them, this fellow has wines. That one has some silks that his purchasing of goes back many, many months, that supposedly, according to him, come all the way from Zeef. There's another fellow who's got, who does in fact have grain that he wishes to sell. Some leather goods, fairly mundane stuff.
You know, I'd like to take this. I'd like to take this opportunity tonight to listen to what the conversations are within here, and see if I can pick up anything that I haven't heard before.
Okay. Some of the fighting men are talking about how much they prefer to be on this particular guard duty, as boring and dull as it is, because of recent troubles out of Hamlet. There's been apparently some unrest with bandits in and around the village of Hamlet. You're vaguely familiar with the name. It's a trading post or farming town closer to Verbabonk than Greyhawk. But what that specific trouble is, it's more like, well, better here than Hamlet with all the troubles there. You know, nobody launches into enough exposition for you to put together a subplot by yourself.
All right.
You know, one merchant is saying, well, maybe next time we should we should hire the Rene and go up the coast of the Near Dive and take that route to Greyhawk. And there's some agreement, some disagreement, fairly mundane stuff. Are you engaging them in any conversation or just listening?
No, just listening. Thank
Okay.
you.
Alrighty.
Y'all want to go to Hamlet instead of getting back to the castle?
I'm kind of tempted.
You don't know how seriously I'm tempted for us to just go there. It'd
Let's
be
go to
nice.
Greyhawk first.
Nah, well, okay, the city, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, let's level up.
Hey, Abner's interested in the guy selling silks. How much are these silks for?
He's selling bolts. He's selling yards and yards and yards of the stuff in a single go, and a bolt of gray silk that he has is 200 gold pieces.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, you want little pieces to make a new suit of clothes out of? Go to the tailor.
Yeah. I thought maybe I'd pick it up and then get the tailor to make it for me, but nope, that doesn't work that way. Cool.
Sorry, you're going to have to buy off the rack.
How gauche.
Yeah, I know. All right. Well, nothing else of interest unless anyone wishes to try and pry further information out of anyone. Evening passes, morning comes, and they're on their way. A few minor trades are done the night before with the innkeeper. She buys some necessary goods. But other than that, they are off on the road. They're actually gone before you guys are. They're gone just at first light. Unless that's the time you're also leaving.
Not with how much we drink, no.
Yeah, no. You guys are leaving at the crack of noon.
All right, well, I guess we get on the road again then.
Okay. As you are not as slow as a caravan, you overtake them by the middle of the last day of travel when you're coming into the farming communities and hamlets in and around in and around the city of Greyhawk. And again, unless you stop to interact with them other than maybe a friendly wave, they do not with you, and you have no further encounters, and you find yourself back at the city. Their caravan is basically going through the Merchant's Gate. They will be there a good while. You're going in through one of the smaller travelers' gates, so you can gain entry to the city fairly quickly at 5 silver a head.
Okay.
How many people is that?
I've got 4, so I'll take care of my 4.
Okay.
No, there's 11 of us total.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, not anymore. There's 9 of us total because no more magic user and cleric.
Cleric. Yep.
So that is 2.25 gold pieces for anybody who's keeping up with that.
Abner puts in the gold for him and his people.
All right, and I pay the rest.
Excellent.
Let's just get through the gate.
That's why you're the
Alrighty.
leader.
And you are back in the city of Greyhawk.
Is it like afternoon, evening?
It is morning, actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
It is morning, and you have come in the western gate, the western traveler gate of Greyhawk. You're on the main drag. What do you wish to do?
Well, let's divide up stuff that needs to be identified, and then we got the gemstone and the jewelry, so we need to sell that.
I think we should take that troll's blood and have potions made of it. I know you all want to sell it, but it's the cheapest way and most guaranteed way to get potions.
No, I mean, unless we had a cleric, do we just trade the troll blood for a potion, or
No,
do
you have
we
to pay.
use the
You have to
troll
pay
blood?
for the labor.
All right, what's that cost?
That is what we have to go find out.
Oh well, I think it's fine to go find out.
Well,
But-
here's the vial. We'll have you investigate that.
That's fine.
I can go see about setting something up with Robilar to see if he wants any of this. Maybe Lynx, you want to go talk to Carl the Sage? Because you've met him before.
Sure, we got to go do that before we sell this to Robilar, though, right?
Yeah, but I don't know if Robilar's just going to be sitting around waiting for me to show up.
Oh,
so I meant I was
gotcha.
going to go talk to
Yeah,
him,
let's
explain
go
what we have, and see if he's interested. To start that process.
Okay, yeah, and then I'll go get it identified.
I think you should work on building your relationship with Robilar. Seeing if he's interested isn't in the cards. I think it would be better if you were able to tell him whether or not he's interested, if you catch my drift.
I see what you're saying. Sure. Then I'll wait for the identify then. So I know what it is.
So it doesn't just start panting and say, yeah, I'll take that for 20 gold.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's about time we begin to make some contacts within the city.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed, Turgo. All right, I divide up the loot and send people on their merry way.
Okay. What are you guys going to dispose of first and foremost?
Go do the troll's blood first, because I'm interested in how that goes.
Okay. So returning to that previous alchemist, I have the blood he needs, the whole, basically a whole handle of it, really.
Okay.
So, how much is the startup and processing time going to be?
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
let me see here.
The party can quibble all they want about cost, but potions that are guaranteed as opposed to having to wait 2 months, I'll take it.
I think that's great if you don't overspend.
Okay, so your alchemist friend, let's look at his costs. Looking at that amount of blood, just kind of eyeballing, he says, the blood of a troll is a powerful thing. I can make you a triple strength reagent. Basically, he's saying a potion of extra healing. Thrice with this much troll's blood.
Excellent.
Owing for spillage and so on, you realize.
Of course.
The process, of course, is very philosophic. It is very scientifical, and it also requires some magical use. It takes approximately 2 weeks to properly make it and bind the appropriate humors and esters in the potion for each. And the cost is 300 gold per month. So for 3,
so 450.
450. However, I will take my payment of one of the potions and give you 2 in return if you wish to conduct business thus. And we call it a done deal.
I would like all 3.
I understand, my friend.
But know this, and I'm sorry, I can't. What I will say is, I would like all 3 now, as in like this time, right? There will be more trolls in the future, right? I just need to keep my boys alive so that there can be more trolls in the future, if you follow me.
Of course.
Right. So we have an agreement to work together in the future. You make yourself available when I walk in the door, yada, 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 that kind of thing. And we'll have recurring business, and then in the next business we can see about getting you another potion. How's that sound?
I will agree if you will guarantee to hire me at my rate for not less than a year. Contract me as your alchemist. Supply me with the reagents and ingredients that I need to make potions for you for not less than a year, and we have a done deal, my friend.
See, but I can't do that without some kind of incentive or discount. As much as I would love to, my friends would have my head for cost.
Well, I do not require the year's payment at the outset. You must realize. What is, by the way, what is Outlier's charisma?
Not very high. He is a
Okay.
dwarf.
Okay.
It is a
He's
not,
outlier.
well, for a dwarf, it's 10. So that's not
Okay.
bad for a dwarf.
All right. Well, let us say do this. For the guarantee my employment and for the first month's payment, I will create all 3 potions for you.
Guarantee your employment for the year?
Yes. And I will create all 3 potions for you.
And how much is he a month?
300 a month.
He's 300. He is 300 a month.
He is 300 a month. That is correct.
So it's either pay him 300 and we get 2 potions.
No,
Or-
he's saying, oh, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's either pay him 300 and we get 2 potions because he gets the third as opposed to 450. Or we hire him for a year and we get all 3 in a month.
Mm-hmm.
I think he offered to make 3 potions and take 1 as his payment.
Yes,
though.
correct.
Yeah.
And that would be yes. Well, I would expect he would still want payment for. Is that him making 3 potions and taking 1 as full pay? Clarify for me, DM.
No, he is saying that if you take all 3, that
If we take 2,
the 450 gold piece deal, he's willing to give you, but he would prefer to work for you for a full year. And if you're willing to sign the full year contract, then in the first month it's 300 and you get all 3 potions.
But if we do but if I were to give him enough troll's blood for 3 potions and he and pay him 300 and he gives us 2 and he keeps the rest of the troll's blood, would that make him happy for now? Was that the deal?
Yes.
Okay. So that's 300 and troll's blood for 2 potions or just troll's blood for 2 potions?
The 300 and the troll's blood.
300 and the trolls. Okay.
Yes.
Look,
He needs glassware, alembics, that sort of thing.
I get it. My party is going to skin me alive if I say yes right now. So I'm going to go back and talk to my constituents because the last thing I need is some elf breathing down my neck. Everybody else can enter in the bleeps there. I'm trying to be child friendly.
Okay.
So, all right, I'll return to the party and ask them. Party?
Yeah.
To which one? Do we want to hire him for a year? Do we want to give him just the 300 and get 2 potions?
So it's hiring him for a year. And what does he do for us?
He gives us 3 potions now, and we can keep bringing him stuff, and he will just keep making us more of
At
whatever
a
we
discount
want.
or for free?
Well, we're paying him 300 a month to make this, so you give him the stuff, he makes it.
But we could bring him 10 or 15 or 20 or 50 or whatever our resources allow, and he'd just do it.
Yeah, and you could do it for invisibility potions, you could do it for healing, you could do
Anything,
it for
right?
anything.
So he's
Not above
a
investing.
300 gold piece a month slave, basically.
Pretty much.
Potion slave.
But every time I've gone to try
Sign
and
me
save
up.
money, spend money, do whatever for this party, I've gotten yelled at. So what do we want?
I
Seems
think I
reasonable
hand
to
you
me.
150 electrum because I want to get rid of the electrum.
That's 75 gold.
That's 75 gold, my dude.
Oh, derp.
2 to 1 the
You
other
can
Yeah,
way,
hand me,
fill
buddy.
it
hand
up.
me that, but hand me the rest too. All right, just hand me total payment and coinage, and I'll go and schlep it over to the poor guy.
I'm reminded of those
600.
those change stands that you'd see people pulling on young cashiers. Like, hey, can I get that back as 2 tens and a 5? Oh,
Yeah.
sure, here you go. You know, when they get $20 change.
I'm also going
Carry
to
the
take.
hat.
I'm also going to take the 2 bodyguards and Turgo. Are you doing anything?
So
In
I'm
town.
always doing something
Are you doing anything
until I
productive?
decide I'm not doing anything. What would you like
Okay.
me to do?
I would like you to stand in front of me and stop somebody from mugging me while I schlep all of this money
Sure,
to the dude. Thank you.
no problem.
Unless
stand behind me with a bell and cry shame.
Unless
Do whatever
Turgo's
you
going
want
to
do.
mug you.
Well, that's fine, but he'll be mugging himself at that point, so that's not my problem.
Exactly.
Okay, so now that I have grace from the party, I'll go back and hand him his gold and say, you have a year's deal by basically the Church of Muradin. Go ahead and give me a pen. And
All right. Well, I will get you an invoice for further costs for lab equipment and so on and et cetera. And when you bring me ingredients for potions, of course, there will be time and costs incurred on that. But I think this is going to be a very, very profitable venture for both of us. And I look forward to working with this stuff. And he sloshes the jug of troll's blood, and it's kind of disturbing because it kind of creeps up the side of the flask before he starts sloshing it.
Well, just hopefully consider a discount in our future. We are A, employing you, and B, giving you the startup for your career. So, I will promptly thump down the money and bow him out and see him in a month or 2.
Okay.
By the way, if we don't come back immediately, like in a month, don't do anything you would regret.
Like what?
Like immediately liquidate those potions.
Oh, no, of course not.
Excellent. Okay, I've known some alchemists to do that, and I've had to, well, defenestrate them. Good day.
So, Outlier, you know any clerics like that?
What, any clerics that I've had to defenestrate?
Nah, that'll work cheap for no reason.
Yeah, me. I've kept you
Oh,
alive
wow.
this long.
I'm in
Lord
full clerics. You know.
Corion, Lynx the Fighter, what are you doing?
I guess I'm going with Abner to Kin the Sage.
Carl.
Carl the Sage.
Carl. Okay.
Kin's across the street. His competitor.
Well, I mean, there are a few sages there in Greyhawk.
Let's develop the relationships that we have, though.
Okay.
So I think we're the gemstone of the jewelry wasn't magical, but I think we're getting the liquid identified.
Potion and armor.
Yeah, potion and armor. And we're keeping this. Oh, and then we'll just sell the scroll to Robilar.
Okay. There is near Carl's place of employ, sort of lounging around in a greensward between 2 buildings. You see there's 9 rather nondescript men, but they all look like they could handle themselves in a fight. They regard you as you walk by. You just keep on going.
We keep on going.
Okay. Carl is in. So he sees you. Ah, yes. I remember you. Don't tell me you're seeking the ashes of your deceased father. I remember it now. Yes, yes. You were adventuring with a one-eyed gnome with the missing thumb on his left hand?
I'm afraid you got the wrong adventurer.
God curse! He goes back and you hear like clanging and like clattering and stuff like that. And he comes back. Very well. What is it you're looking for?
Well, Carl, we have some items we want you to look at. And I show him the
Really?
The suit of armor and the potion.
Okay. He
Castle Greyhawk. We have no idea what they are. Clearly valuable, though.
no, clearly. All right. He says, so am I to assume that it is a simple identification that you require of these items?
Yes.
Indeed.
And you have requisite coin, I presume?
We do.
Very well. He picks up a wooden box and opens the lid.
Is that going to be 600 for 2 items, or do we know the price ahead of time? Do we do the gentle how much that is?
For a suit of armor that may latch itself to me and crush me or compel me to wear it forever, I am quite afraid that there is a bit of an upcharge. And as far as the potion goes, well, I should have to taste it slightly, and it could be poison. So I'm afraid this will cost you 1,000 gold pieces for the 2 items.
Ooh.
Or its equivalent in gems or jewelry.
I look to Abner. Do you think that's worth it for the...
Well, we could test it ourselves and figure out what it is. You did it with your sword. So
That's true. How much just for the potion identified?
Out of game for the reminder for the group, we did identify the potion sort of last time. You had found out the kind of effect it was going to have.
did we?
Well, I've got a potion. All I'm aware of is 2 potions, and I've got one that's gaseous form and one that looked like Quicksilver Mercury.
Yeah,
We're
the
getting the
gaseous form. We
mercury.
already had that. We already had the gaseous form before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
James's character or something like that. Figured it out.
Yeah,
Something
I thought
did.
somebody had tasted the mercury one and already gotten the effect.
I don't remember that. I didn't taste it.
I could be
But
thinking
maybe.
of the gaseous form, to be fair.
Yeah, the gaseous form I talked to James's character about,
Mhm.
and we came to an understanding of what it was. The other one, I think I grabbed, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, let's just get that potion identified then.
Okay.
All right. That is 500 gold pieces.
It's tough, but all right, let's get that.
Alrighty. It takes him a moment of concentration, and he examines the vial and looks up the properties of the liquid and so on, and then samples a bit and is like, what you have there, young man, is a potion of heroism.
Nice.
Excellent. And not a potion of death.
Yes, well, good for
Or
me
the
and for
opposite.
you. So go ahead.
Might I ask if Abner has identify?
He does not.
Right. So you got to grab that spell, and then a bunch of 100 gold piece pearls or something like that.
Yeah, but it's also a little bit difficult to work with. But it is a spell that should be on my list to get.
It would save us a lot of money.
Yeah.
Can you get a scroll of identify or get that in your spell book now while we're here?
I might be able to get a copy of it for some cash. Yes.
I'm perfectly fine with investing.
But let's
Agreed.
Yeah.
let's figure out what we have before we decide what Abner's buying versus everybody else.
Yeah. All right. Well, since that's done, the next thing is we need to sell Potion of Heroism and Clerical
The scrolls.
Magic to Robilar. So
It's not clerical magic.
Are
I have
you sure you
Scroll
want to
2
sell that one?
Clerical
now?
Magic.
That heroism is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, player
Yeah,
for
this
player.
is a potion of heroism. Depending, its effect is kind of dependent on your level, but it essentially gives you like a first to third level fighter, and it's only for fighters and fighter subclasses, rangers and paladins, who consumes it. It'll also work for men at arms. They fight like a man at arms is a 0 level fighter. It raises him to effectively 4th level fighter, and they gain 4d10 hit points temporarily.
Right. That's like a boss killer.
Yeah, a first through
keeping
third level. First through third level, they fight as 3 levels higher and gain 3d10 plus 1 hit points. 4 through 6 gains or fights as 2 levels higher and gains 2d10 plus 2 hit dice, and a 7th through 9th level fighter fights as 1 level higher and gains 1d10 plus 3 hit points. So,
Right. I think that's one of those ones that punches above. I mean, what are we going to sell it for? 500, which is what it costs us to
Yeah.
identify it. It's
That's
worth more
definitely
than
if we
that.
run into that dog priest thing again.
Yeah.
Somebody
Anything.
buys
Yeah.
that. Yeah. All right, we'll keep that, but we're definitely selling the scroll because that's a
Yeah.
lot of gold.
okay.
What about the armor?
I think we
What
decided
about the armor?
I'm gonna put it on and then
Okay.
decide if I die or not.
All right.
When Lynx puts it on, Abner's like, eh.
We're doing that at the end.
No,
So I
but I'm
drink
still like,
first.
Abner will step back just in case.
Transmute flesh to gold.
Picturing the scene of Ghostbusters when they turn on the proton packs in the elevator, and Egon just kind of shifts himself behind Venkman. Just
Yeah.
like that's going to make all the difference.
Okay, so with Lynx trying on the armor,
Mhm.
does he combust? Does he
No.
disintegrate? Does he?
No, the armor is lightweight. It doesn't require much adjustments of the straps at all. To quote Ned Flanders, feels like you're wearing nothing at all. It's just very lightweight plate mail. If it has any magical effects, you will have to have it identified now. Or rather, you will have to have a sage look at it now because you've handled it and worn it and everything like that. So,
Yeah, but if we identify it, we lose like 500 gold, especially if we're not going to use it. I mean, maybe there's something about it, some property that makes you realize that it's worth more than you think it is, but don't seem like it.
Well, Lynx, let me test something. I've heard about this. Can you take off the armor again?
Oh, good point. I take off the armor.
yeah, you just slip right out of it.
Okay, you're fine.
But, I mean, if we think about it this way, if you do spend the 500 to get it identified, you could probably sell it for about 1,000, provided there's no other magical bonus or something to it, right? plate mail itself is already worth something, so at least you're making 500 on it.
I think identifying it is throwing good money after bad.
But I mean, if you're going to go and sell it to a merchant anyway, what do you expect them to foot the bill for identifying it? They're not going to give you nearly as much.
I expect Robillard to be as honest and to have as much integrity as I've heard he's had. That's what I expect. Which Abner is responsible for the relationship, so I trust all as well.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, who's selling the gem and the jewelry? Turgo, do you know some people that would want that?
I know there's
perhaps.
a gnome out there, but I don't remember who talks to the gnome.
Is it a one-eyed gnome that's missing a thumb and hand?
No, it is not. So Turgo,
Jim Smith Incorporated, the Jim Smith. That's what I have.
Jim Smith, the Gemsmith?
Yeah,
Jim and the
Smith
hologram.
of Jim Smith Incorporated, the Jim Smith. Yeah. The gnome. So somebody needs to go there. So I guess that's Turgo, because
His name was David.
it makes sense that the thief is carting around jewelry.
okay, so Turgo, you practically stumble over a nobleman leaving the gem dealer. He is accompanied by an appropriate number of guards, and footmen are there with him. He is otherwise alone. The guards practically like sweep you out of the way. They're giving you dirty looks. Step aside, commoner.
You only think I'm a commoner. What if I weren't? Point taken, though.
All right. They, as they're walking by, and this fellow climbs into a sedan chair, and off they go. In the gem dealer, he sees you, says, greetings, my friend. What can I do for you?
Friend might perhaps be a little bit of a strong word, but it's nice to see you as well. I do, however, consider you my friend, even if you don't consider me yours.
Once I untangle that and decide whether or not you've insulted me, we can do business.
Very well. So, I have some items here.
Let us see.
Who'd be more interested than the most esteemed, prestigious gem dealer in town?
Please stop flattering me. No, seriously, stop flattering me. It won't get you anywhere. Well, let's have a look at what you've brought from the wilds of someone else's pockets.
All right, I reach out inside my cloak that I was deliberately holding over my left side.
Okay.
And lay them out on the counter.
Okay, he pulls a loop around and is examining the topaz. Quite nice. You very rarely see gems cut like this anymore these days. Everyone wants a marquee cut, but for a topaz, I do prefer the opera cut myself. This is nicely done. So for a price, I would think 500. Yes, agreeable. Now,
I hesitate to say that 600 was offered to me previously today.
Really? 600?
Now, I don't know whether the gentleman has the money to actually pay that. I thought it were a little high myself. But perhaps.
Let me counter offer and say, rather than send you back out on the streets to someone who might seek to, well, dare I say, rob you and leave you with nothing, I could do as high as 525, my friend.
You drive a hard bargain. We'll take it.
Very well. I will. Would you prefer the cash, or would you prefer a letter of marque to the bank exchequer?
I believe a letter of marque would be more appropriate.
Of course. Trundle snaps his fingers. Now, this piece, he holds it up. It's kind of a filmy, meshy, basically, as I said, ornamental, curious. Is there some elf maiden who didn't like your gift? This is a bit gaudy and quite ostentatious, but lovely nonetheless.
Yeah, two things, just so we're clear. I would never give anything to an elf maiden, and I've already given it to them all anyway.
Very droll. That's what I prefer about working with you. This particular piece, this is this actually is from the Great Kingdom, which, of course, given its rather racy nature, I think that answers all we need to know about that. With the openings in places where they are, it's certainly not meant to be armor, although it mimics it in dimensions somewhat. As melt, it's worth perhaps a couple of thousand, but as an interesting bit of jewelry, I could perhaps go as high as 3,000 for the item.
And what more, perhaps, could you do?
Well, I could do a lot more, but what I will do is 3,000.
3,000.
Although, I suppose if you're going to twist my arm and sell me another sob story about someone who may or may not have the money for you, since you are a good customer, I could perhaps raise the price as high as 3,500.
That seems a little more reasonable, particularly given the fact that I could just come and take it back from you whenever I'd like, now couldn't I?
My friend,
Hypothetically.
you would not survive the attempt.
I may not, but perhaps I have a death wish.
And that would break my heart. So,
mine too.
3,500.
Done.
Very well. The letter is made out. He seals it with a signet, and you are sent on your way.
Hopefully the party's cool with that. I'll come back.
Making out with letters is always such a sticky affair. So waxy.
Well, what I like about that is that you guys can go argue it with him. It's not like cash in hand. So if you guys don't like that, you know.
Well, we have a good sized treasure pile, and I bet we'll get some more with Robilar. We should try and think about leveling up, actually.
Okay.
We also
Mark,
need to
you're
discuss
muted.
XP
You're
with the
muted,
DM.
Mark.
Yes.
Damn
So
this technology. Go to
now,
Robilar.
the gold you get. This is little bit of learning, little bit of learning time in the middle of our adventure. At least the way I run it, the gold you get and secure, that is the gold you bring to a safe place, versus what you sell something for, are different amounts. So while you might not have gotten the full amount in money, you will get the full amount in XP for those two items.
Yeah.
Are you saying you didn't give us the full price for those items, Bill?
Why would he?
Shock.
Yeah, right.
Gasp.
Hell, we're lucky if we get 60%.
Does the
That's what I
has the
find out. He
dungeon
kills
master
characters.
bamboozled the players?
I have a
What
feeling
kind of online game am I streaming here?
I was going to haggle for longer, and I think I might have done better, except Sir Outlier was complaining about the time spent in town and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so players, did I give out the XP for the monster encounters yet?
Yes.
I'm looking.
Yes. Monsters,
Okay,
yes.
are-
Money,
Yes,
no.
yeah.
Monsters, yes, money, no. Are you seeking to sell or to keep the magic user scroll?
Sadly, sell.
Oh, you don't want to blow your arms off trying to write it into your spell book.
Spells that I won't be able to use for years, probably.
There's Abner very carefully drawing figure after figure. Lynx walks up. How's it going? Slap. Blam. Okay. The Collegium Magica in Greyhawk, they do not negotiate. They have very nearly bottomless funds, and a scroll like this, they are absolutely willing to offer you the face value of. So 6,900 gold pieces.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
And since Mark will not touch the book that a player should not be looking at, does Abner think that's a good price? I know he can't argue with the college, but does it seem
How
like
with Abner?
That's more money than Abner has ever seen in one place in his entire life.
great?
Mm-hmm.
He'll get a letter of mark.
Buy a potion or buy a thing of identify while you're there.
Actually, that's an idea. Do they have scrolls for sale?
For someone who is in the guild and such a low level spell, yes, they do.
I will get a scroll of identify. How much is the scroll of identify?
I think it's either 100 or 300 per level. I need to, let's see.
I think it's worth it either way.
Yeah. If it's 100, I'll get 2 of them.
Can they help you learn it in case you fail your spell check?
No.
You know, your learning percentage.
For some reason, I thought you were going to say learner's permit.
Learning. I'm learning.
Same thing. Maybe if they could tutor you, that would be a
I
damn
have a
good
learner's
deal.
permit to do magic. I can only do magic with an adult present.
Won't find any at this table,
Commercial
my friend.
magic, like,
Remember, not just an adult. It has to be only daylight hours and in good weather conditions.
Dude,
All right. So the let's see. 300 gold pieces for that.
For one identify
For
scroll,
one identify scroll, yes.
I will take 2.
Okay.
So it sounds like I will get back 6,300 gold pieces and 2 identify scrolls. Does that sound
Yes, that is correct.
right? That's why I come back to the team. I sold the scroll. I have 2 identify scrolls. I will attempt to learn from one of them, so I will have it from now on. And money chunk. Well, a piece of paper does not make a chunk noise when I put it down on the table.
Then why buy 2, pray tell?
Because I can cast both of them. If I cannot learn it, I'll at least be able to cast both.
Mm-hmm.
you can cast
Okay.
the scroll.
It's a backup, yes.
I'm fine with that, yeah. So Turgo needs to level up, I know. And I want to get anybody with like magic to level up, I know.
what about Lynx, though? Didn't we talk about that?
Yeah.
Is he ready?
I believe I'm ready, but I
think I probably
basically
got
am a
more
second hit points
than
that I have. But I'm gonna have 2 magic items. Basically, I'm gonna have a plate mail suit and a magic sword. I'm kind of
Oh,
ahead.
And a potion.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to sell that
And a
crap?
potion.
Well, we can identify the plate mail, and regardless, he'll
yeah,
get
get
the
rid
XP
of
from it.
You look like an idiot in that stuff.
You look like an idiot normally, so it's fine.
I'm sure I do, and I'm sure he does, but especially in some elven plate. I'm never going to let you live that down.
It's true.
I never said it
I'm
was
willing to sell.
Elven played.
Somebody did.
It's the mention in the Discord, which, by the way, if you're out there in the audience and you're new, yes, we have a Discord, not just for the live stream, but for the whole darn show. And I'm going to paste that in the chat real quick.
I think people got confused between the magical plate mail and the lingerie that Turgos.
Yes, the lingerie jewelry. No, the magical plate mail. There was some discussion about, hey, it's made of mithril, which that it's not. It will fit anyone, an elf, half elf, or human. Otherwise,
What does it look like?
It looks like plate mail. It's got greaves and chest plate and pauldrons and all that stuff.
Plate,
full plate, yes.
Yeah, something decorative, Frenchy or something like that, right?
No, it's not too ostentatious at all.
Yes, Kyle. Do you want to make
Are we talking-
comment about our
Yeah, are we talking 15th century Italian here? Are we talking 15th or 16th century German? Are you talking German High Gothic, which is 16th century? Are you talking the English style,
You're
which
talking,
is a mix of German and Italian?
I would say probably, given
We're
Gary's
talking
predilections,
1976. That's what we're talking about.
it would probably be more towards the English style.
Okay, so English style, which until recently was not believed to exist, is a hybrid between German and Italian.
Then that's most likely the look we've got here.
Might I ask a question?
Yes.
Is Link's going to look like a wuss?
No.
Or is he gonna
No.
look cool?
He's gonna look like the 11th century equivalent of an Abrams tank.
Well, the 11th century
Right,
wouldn't
right.
have.
I'm wearing
But
it.
I like him to
That's
have
all
his
I need to
helmet
hear.
off because I like his. Yeah.
Right.
Whatever he
Okay.
wants is cool with me.
So right now, before handing out any XP, where is everyone sitting as far as experience points?
Oh, God.
I need like 4,000 to level up, so it's probably not going to be me.
Well,
No.
congratulations, because with a 3-way split on the XP for treasure, it's 45.50 apiece.
What the bleep? Okay.
Oh, so that's the.
Let me
Right.
divide that by 2. You said
45.50. you said?
43.50?
45.50. 4550.
And then we get the 10% if we have exceptional
I know, I
ability and
level up.
Correct.
related. Right.
Correct.
Well, I do get the 10 and exceptional ability is 16 or higher.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. So I do get that for my strength.
And after tonight, we don't have to do this live, but after tonight, do send me updated character sheets, each of you, please.
I want to too because I've built them on a new actual 1E sheet and whatnot.
Yeah.
Excellent.
That will actually put me at level 5, assuming I could advance
How
that far.
Okay. And you've
Where
also
do you stopping?
Do we round up or round down for 0.5?
Down.
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 Okay.
Yeah, so before
43.50.
treasure, I was at 54.13, and I needed to train to achieve level 4. Treasure takes it, to level 5.
Okay. So remember, nobody is jumping 2 levels here.
Right.
Just letting you know. So it is 1,500 per week. You have all done an excellent job. I'm sorry, it's not 1,500 per week. It's level of the trainee character times 1,500 equals your weekly cost during study and training. So whatever level you're currently sitting at times 1,500 equals your cost because you have all played exceptionally well. And I mean it. This is a good group, and I haven't had to private message you, stop doing Night to Say Knee, or I will ban you from the server or anything like that.
Yeah, you're exceptional as well.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, but this brings back the conversation we had. What
the
was
money.
it? Second to third level. Like, where do I stop? Right. So I started the session with 5,413, which
Mhm.
would have put me at a level 413 beyond fourth level. But now I've gotten a bunch more. I haven't trained for fourth level yet. I've gotten a bunch more that would take me past fifth level. So where do I cut off the experience since I can't train for two different levels?
You cut off just under fourth level,
Just under fifth.
just under fifth level. Exactly.
Right.
So you train for
99.99.
fourth. Yeah, you train for fourth and then go up to and stop just south of fifth.
Perfect.
And I'm not going to level for a while, guys. So level for yourselves. I've got thousands of XP to go in both cases. So
what you're saying is I shouldn't plan to send the party into the Tomb of Horrors next week.
I mean, you could.
I could. I
Is-
think there should be leveled Tomb of Horrors, like a Tomb of Horrors. It's the same map, but a Tomb of Horrors for first through third level characters.
like Goosebumps and Scooby-Doo
like
levels.
The pits are 5 feet deep. You take 1 to 2 damage if you fall in them. It's the sphere of annihilation just kind of bounces you back across the hallway, and you take a couple of points from that.
That would be cool.
For
Is
party-
Link's going to level?
Yeah, for party info, I have 600 XP I need to get before I can even level my cleric, and 3,000 more before my fighter, 2,300 more before my fighter.
All right.
So Abner could level, Turgo could level. Can Link's level? I think he's nodding.
You're muted, Lynx, and I didn't do it this time.
I was wondering why they weren't. Yeah, I can level.
Okay. So I don't think we can afford all three of us. Turgo was up first in line.
Yeah, Turgo. I want Turgo to level, and then you're next. That's why.
Okay, I'll need 4,500.
Which, as it happens, no, as it happens, you guys do not have that. Well, I don't know what you guys have. That's up to y'all.
Yeah. So can someone do some math and figure out after Turgo pays off his whatever?
Yeah, so I didn't have any money, right? And it's going to take me 1,500 per level to be attained.
No, level you're at.
So
Level I'm at.
You're sitting at third level, so it will take you 4,500.
Right. So level I'm at. Not level
Okay,
I
so
wish
that's
to attain.
twice. Oh.
Okay, so
Okay,
4,500
so
is what
altogether,
it's going to
actually,
cost
we
me.
might have enough.
Yeah,
And
you
I have no money.
Yeah.
I've got 5 gold.
Yeah.
I
We
just
actually
keep
might
that.
be able to all level if that's our price for everyone. So
Well,
I
they-
got 12,477 GP, and then I'm just adding up what's left. to
Well,
save.
Abner's
Where is
gonna
this
be
cash?
less.
Wait, what?
In the bank.
Okay.
in the wagon.
There was also
Abner's going to be less.
And we just
right? 'Cause
sold,
he's
like-
level 1.
Yeah, we just
level
got
2.
8,000 or 9,000 or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's Abner's level right now?
He could train to be fourth level. So
Right. So he's going to cost 4,500.
yeah, exactly.
I'm going to cost 4,500, and
Links will
Links.
cost 4,500.
right. So that's what 13,500.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have that, Mr. Banker? Links.
We might be just shy of that.
Well, there
I'll
was
sell the potion of gaseous form if necessary.
there was also what Average had that would default to you guys as well, since Average is dead. Outlier doesn't know about it.
How much can we sell his headstone for?
Over my
Ouch.
dead body.
Well, I mean, I would think that would be the plan.
That's okay. I'll take the thief with me.
Hey, you've been wanting to break my head down with doors anyway.
Mhm.
So we had a question, and I want to address this to the audience. Vincent, who I think is coming from newer editions, which is fine. We accept all here. Says, when you level up in AD&D, do you get any bonus to character stats? No, you do not. Hit points increase, and in the case of thieves, their thieving abilities increase. But per raw stats, no. The Cavalier, however, which I'm not a huge fan of. Well, let me amend that. I don't like the Paladin being put under the Cavalier. The Cavalier, as written, is not bad, but I believe the Cavalier's dexterity, constitution, and charisma are percentage based, regardless of what they are. So if you have, say, 15s in all of those, I think you have to have higher. But anyway, just bear with me. When you first create your character, you roll percentage dice and put those values next to each one of those stats. As you level, you gain more to that percentage value. And I can't remember if it is 10% or if it is a D10 more. But when you roll over, whether you do it in 1 level, 5 levels, or 10 levels, when you roll over to 100 with that percentage, that stat increases by 1. So sort of, but not really. So I hope that Jack Photon, you're absolutely right. Dragon Magazine Cavaliers were the best. So as I said before, we like to throw a little education about AD&D into the game live streams. So you players, please continue.
So we're selling an old
All
suit
right.
of plate mail.
Okay.
Yeah, if I wear the magic plate mail, I can sell my old suit. How much can you get for an old suit of plate mail?
They're just not
It's
worth
more
that
than
much
30
since the
GP, all three of
XP38
us.
model came out. I was going to laugh at my Star Wars reference. Okay, all right. Let's see. Plate, I think, plate is it 200 or 400 for a suit of plate? It's not
I
cheap.
want to say 200.
200 sounds great.
Let's have a gander in the old player's handbook and check this out here.
400.
400. So given the wear and tear, and brother, there is some wear and tear on that plate.
What's this great Uzi stuff? Nothing. Don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Rock rub hole.
Did you spill gravy on this, my lord?
It's
Well,
been freshly
the-
scoured by acid.
Yeah, exactly. It's exfoliating. Anyway, no, the armorer thinks that it has character and that it came from the brawny thewed shoulders of a brave adventurer. He can probably actually sell it for more than he could a brand new suit. So he will offer you 150 gold for it.
I'll take it.
All righty, done and dusted.
And there
Shake
y'all
on
can
it,
level.
and then I go tell people we can all level up.
Okay.
Woohoo!
What sorcery is this? What is this level up you speak of?
We can all go pay our guild dues or whatever.
Yeah. we have to do that
Exactly.
too.
Exactly. You can pay the guild dues.
So, Bill,
Yes.
I want to learn a new spell.
What spell do you want
we
to learn?
I believe we get to educate people on the no spell check. Like, I have to roll to find out if I can know this spell I want.
That is correct. Your intelligence is what?
A 17.
A 17. Your percent chance to know spell is very, very high. Let's see.
And I wish to know the spell web.
All right. So let's have a gander. Your percent chance to know spells, and I know you all have a copy of the player's handbook out there in TV land, so you can just follow along. We are on page We are on page 10 of the player's handbook. A 17 intelligence is a 75% chance to know each listed spell. So says the dungeon crab.
I will roll that right now. 75%.
What spell?
Web.
Oh, web. All right.
And I rolled a 45.
You know web.
Awesome.
So that is the spell that you gain this level. Interesting you didn't go for identify, but it's up to you.
I have a scroll of identify. Can I roll now to see if I could learn this identify off my scroll?
You didn't go with fart?
No, the spell you elected to learn this level was web. Congratulations, you have web. When you go to the next level, you may attempt to learn a spell that you do not already know.
Oh, so I thought I would be able to attempt to copy off the scroll into my spellbook, identify.
You can copy it, but that's not the same as knowing it.
Drat, I should have talked to my DM first. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
And
You're
that
welcome.
was the most important lesson of all.
Yes.
G.I. Joe.
What were you now? Awesome. Web. Yay.
The dungeon crab is very disappointed that you didn't consult with us.
No.
Can we
Okay.
hire a wizard with identify to come along with us to the dungeon? Maybe, maybe Abner can be his valet.
It is entirely cromulent to attempt to hire an NPC here in Greyhawk if you're looking for a magic user. Hiring non-player characters is certainly something you can attempt.
I was
I would
looking to make a
caution
joke.
Churgo that are. Yeah, we don't have the money for that anyway.
What is left in the party funds?
2 pizza coupons and a bent
Adding
brass
that up, it's
piece.
Like,
I didn't hear that.
it's like 118 gold.
Okay.
We don't have a lot.
Should we just divvy that amongst ourselves?
And this is why we can't pay the 100 a month rate for our characters, because we literally can't afford it.
100 per month per level.
We literally can't afford it.
I understand that. That just means you're sleeping in flop houses and so on and etc.
Links, can we just divvy that up? I need to pay my hirelings.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that right now.
Thank you.
Well, alrighty, brave adventurers. You spend a week there in the town.
Points.
In intense training, those of you who are training. So our fighter, the noble Lynx, gains 8 hit points through his training. Abner,
Woohoo!
I just rolled. Do you roll?
oh,
for
you
me?
just rolled? What'd you get?
Sadly, a 1, but I'm being honest.
Oh, well, that's a shame. You should have taken mine. Anyway, I got
being honest.
no, that's fine. I got you 4, but you have 1.
Yep.
So,
Plus my con gives me 3.
all right. So, some of you are a little bit better outfitted. What are you doing as far as provender? Do you still have? Because you were. I'm sorry, you broke up.
What did the thief get?
Yeah, I went up in level. We can do it either way. If you wanna roll, I'm cool with that.
All right.
Roll good, Bill.
Well, you got 3. You got exactly average.
Nice.
But hey, you're not tanking anyway.
No, I had great hit points in the first place.
Excellent.
That brings me up to 20.
Wow.
You're better than me.
How many do you have?
I have 18.
Oh, you're still better than me.
I
I'm,
thought
at
so.
I'm at 17.
Line up, adventurers. I'll get the railgun. There's this great YouTube channel. I don't know why the guy posts his stuff up there. And I don't know why YouTube recommended it to me, but it's called either SY or SV Simulations. And the guy has access to a supercomputer, and all he does is do modeling, like scientific modeling of what if you fired an 88 millimeter shell from a World War II tank at the front of an Abrams? And the answer is not much. But then conversely, it's like, okay, what happens when the 152 millimeter gun of a KV-1 tank shoots the front of a Panzer III? And the answer is a significant emotional event. But that's all he does. So I would love to see, like, on an April Fool's Day, if he just did magic missile versus breastplate, with all the spalling and energy expended and everything. But I digress. Let's continue on. Party, what are you doing now?
We're trying to make sure we know what money we get. Lex is divvying it up. We're just trying to double check.
We're doing accounting and dungeons, not.
Yeah. And I haven't done math in like years, and I don't know why being on camera is making me fail at math.
Well, is that
the eyes of hundreds of people are watching you right now.
Mm-hmm.
We wish.
Mm-hmm.
Francis E. Deck was right. Frankenstein television computer controls. You got that reference. Well, you spend too much time on the internet, just like me.
If that's our total that we have left, it'd be 142. Or sorry, it would be 42 gold apiece.
Okay.
If we have 170 left to our name.
Let's go with that for right now, and I'm going to have somebody double check my math after the stream.
Okay.
That's fine. So
it's like 100 somewhere, and
it'd be 42.6 gold technically, but 0.625. But
Yeah.
if everybody gets 42, the house gets an extra gold. We're good.
All right, I think we're going back to Castle Greyhawk with that.
Yeah.
or Hamlet.
Yeah, actually, let's go to Hamlet and murder some bandits because, that'll be easy.
Okay.
Abner would like to go back to Castle Greyhawk because his field of study is subterranean, strange locations. But he's willing to go for Hamlet because Castle Greyhawk has been a little bit dicey.
How long do I have before I have to? How long do I have to dig up my husband and resurrect him? By the way, is this an immediate thing, or can you wait a month?
Resurrection is
No, raised dead.
Oh, raised dead. Raised dead is kind of like gosh, let me see. It's been
Because I feel like I would have brought him with me.
it's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Raised dead at this point, you would literally almost be equally well served having resurrection cast if you could find a scroll or a high enough level cleric, because at this point he's been dead for almost a month. That's 30 days, and it is let me see, raised dead, the specifics of that.
Because that is one thing Outlier would want is, I know I didn't mention that before this stream, but we were heading back to Greyhawk anyway. Like, if I think he'd have a chance of surviving, I'd rather res him.
Yeah. At this point, resurrect is, and the percentage chance is the same.
Yeah.
The system shock roll is the same. He's been dead long enough at this point that no cleric exists that could cast raise dead. So it's gonna need to be true resurrection to bring him back.
Okay.
While you guys are discussing money and that sort of thing, whether you're walking back from selling Lynx's suit of armor after your training and whatnot, It is a quiet side street in Greyhawk. You all kind of notice at the same time and are startled by several huge rats that have kind of walked out into the middle of the street. And rats do in Greyhawk, but these are big rats. And they kind of stop, and the biggest one in the middle stands up and sniffs the air, raises its little pink-gray paw, looks at its fellows, and chitters, and they all leap. Turgo has a dex of what?
Apologies. 16.
16. You are only surprised for one segment. The rest of you, unless anybody has a dex of 16 or better.
Yep, so do I.
I have a 17.
Okay. So you are only surprised for one segment. Hey, Volcano God, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. From Volcano God says, the thing I missed from gaming in the 80s and 90s was how little we understood and how much we created based on the scraps we learned from the Books and Dragon magazine. It was a time, wasn't it? It was a time. I've said before, I taught myself to play D&D with my copy of Keep on the Borderlands. I had no other D&D books. Okay. So, Lynx is caught flat-footed. Outlier is surprised for a segment. Abner's dex is what?
16.
16. Abner and Turgo are surprised. Doomsword, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, guys.
That's so that you attack Abner.
Hey,
All right. Well, everyone to a greater or lesser degree is surprised, but Outlier the least. So, yes, Outlier, a giant rat, is leaping on you. Because Lynx looks particularly tough, two are leaping on Lynx. And then it is one for the rest of you. So this is
AC 0.
we will start with Outlier. And I need to...
Oh,
See,
God,
guys,
if that's an edge case.
let me see. It's not, but I do need. I do want to have the monster manual open. Alrighty. Remember, 2 honks if you're allergic. So. Oh yeah, these guys have a nasty surprise ability anyway. So that is a miss. Lynx, you are bitten. You are missed. Abner, armor class is what?
8.
Abner, you are hit. You are hit again. And they are biting you. They are not using weapons, so I'll tell you what they're...
I just leveled and I died. No.
Yeah. Chomp, chomp, thud, thud. All right, so...
Oh, what a relief it is.
All right, so damage... It's a mere 1 to 3. So Lynx takes 2, Abner takes 4, and they missed Turgo, and they missed Outlier. So, Lynx, you're still surprised. That is a miss. We'll just go ahead and do all of your surprise. That is a miss. That is a miss. Oh, that might be... So you are wearing plate, correct? Magic plate that you don't know what it does.
Correct.
All right.
Plate of rat attraction.
No.
Rat magnet. Don't. And that's how my stream got sued by Warner Music. Where is it? Come on. Because it's an edge case. But you are wrapped in some magic armor, so it is an edge case enough that I gotta look it up. Oh no, that doesn't get you. All right.
And those who aren't surprised go?
Yes, now we are doing so what is Outlier doing?
Preferably murdering. Are these sub-hit die?
They are not. They are not going to be. Mark, what is Abner doing?
I guess he has to fend for himself, so he's going to try to stab something with his dagger.
Okay, and what about Turgo?
Yeah, I'll fire if I can. Otherwise, I'll close in short sword.
They're in melee. You can't shoot, so you will have to melee. So let's start then. TK, roll initiative for the party, please. D6.
Yep, a 4.
They transmogrify into these hideous rat-like humans stooped over at the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
And when they do that, clutched in the belly of, not in the belly, but clutched to the belly of one, he quickly scatters swords to the others. So that's their action in the round. TK, go ahead.
I hit AC 4.
All right, you slam your is it a sword you have, two-handed?
I have a great sword, 13 damage. I know that if they're lycanthropes, they're going to have some damage reduction, but they aren't immune.
Same.
So they might ignore a lot of it, but some of it's going to sink in.
Oh, by the way, what is Abner's total hit points?
17 total.
17 total. Okay. All right.
He just got hit for 4.
Mm-hmm.
And now we just get hit for 18. No?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Abner starts
All right,
growing
so
a couple
you-
little whiskers.
Yeah, you get a couple little drops of blood there. All right. Everybody else, please attack.
Did the AC 4 hit, by the way?
Yes, it did.
Okay.
Abner missed horribly.
Okay. Would you prefer to have missed wonderfully?
No, actually, I
That's
prefer the
amazing.
Didn't know I could miss this part.
Nothing happens.
I missed so well.
I miss as well.
Here's
Okay.
a Chess X lab dice
Okay.
from Gods and Monsters.
Excellent.
Let's see how
Excellent.
it does. Not very well.
Never buy dice from there again.
Well, hang on.
Your dice would have got good mojo if you'd used them at my table. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. AC 11.
Yeah, no, that's not even a thing, man. All right. Okay. So in the next round, the were-rats all have swords. You all have weapons out. I'm guessing we're all going to melee. Is Abner casting a spell at all?
I think he's going to try. He's going to try
Okay.
to cast web. We'll see just how bad that of an idea that is.
Okay. Is Outlier casting any spells?
Did my sword do anything?
You got a couple of drops of blood.
Okay, so I did. As long as I feel like I did something, I'll swing again.
Okay. Then Mark, roll initiative for the side.
Okay, I roll initiative, and it's a 1. Uh-oh.
It is tied. Now, Web, let me see here.
2 segments.
2 segments. Okay. I will start with you then, because this is important. How many memorizations of Web do you have?
1.
1. Well, 1 is the number the were-rat rolls.
It is also the loneliest number.
Yeah.
That is a miss on links. That is a miss on links. That is a miss on Turgo. And TK, what is Outlier's armor class? 0. Well, that missed on. So yeah, that's definitely going to miss. Okay. Those who can melee, go ahead and melee.
Miss.
AC 8.
That will miss. Thank you, Lord Corion. Thank you very much. The party all contracts lycanthropy because we can't hit. But if you're all lycanthropes, do I have to change anything about the game? I don't think so.
I'd be fine being a were-rat.
Nobody's a paladin. Nobody's a ranger.
We just have to quest for cheese instead of gold. That's all.
Exactly. That 100 gold piece per level per month is spent buying Gruyere.
Sounds like my normal life. Wait a second.
I mean, really think about it. How much of an improvement would it be for Abner to be a lycanthrope? I mean, think about it.
It might be.
We just all stop fighting.
The
wait.
damage reduction alone. The damage reduction alone.
Yeah.
I hit for 2 damage though. If you didn't hit.
Okay, yeah, you draw a bloody slash on that one, and he chitters and hisses. Okay, Web.
Yeah. I want to target it so I get as many, if at all possible, all of the rats. It may get some of us. But
Sounds reasonable.
That's why I have magic armor, right?
Okay, 8 cubic inches. You can get either side of the street.
that's right. I have to anchor it. So yeah, across the street and across the rats.
Correct. And I mean, unless a party says that they're going to be, this is after melees. So unless the party specifically says, no, we're going to lean into the webs and keep trying to stab them, they're not going to get caught.
Okay.
You know, web is like fireball or stinking cloud or anything like that.
Man,
You can target it far enough back that it will rush forward, and if you're smart with its employment. So let's see. I got
saving throws.
Okay, one of them absolutely made a saving throw.
Drat.
Another one did not. It's 2. So 3 of them actually made their saving throws. And what that means is
right at the very end, if the creature has room to escape, then they assumes we just jump free. If there's no room to escape, then they're only half caught.
The street is open enough that they can jump in either direction. 1, 2, 3, they leap forward, basically past you guys. 4, 5, 6, they jump back on the far side of the web. They jump back on the far side of the web. And let's see. Oh, wow. I'm just going to go ahead and say that is the sound of, well, you know what? Let's roll it. See what happens. see what that is, because someone else is coming. You cannot see who it is. Something more exciting than that. Somewhere, well, let's see. Yes, somewhere behind them, because you just went full Spider-Man. You hear yells of surprise and shock, and there's a general there is a clamor somewhere behind the web. It's a little muffled.
Did the web succeed at dividing the rats from us?
Yes, they jumped back.
Good.
When they tried to get out of your web. So they are behind the web. You basically created a riot barrier, one of the foam riot barriers between you and the rats. A couple of them are caught and twitching. You know what? I think it's a good time to see if they do that 5% chance to suffocate to death.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh my God. One of them's snout is completely covered and it's thrashing around.
Abner gets a kill.
The other one is fine, but yeah, that one suffocates and dies in around in a minute. It like turns into a giant rat, turns into a human.
Abner puts a little scratch mark on his spellbook, I guess.
Turns into a human male, just like quickly shape-shifting through to try and get the sticky stuff out of its breathing passages, but it can't. What do you guys wish to do?
I say we leave.
Yeah, I agree.
But we have several people that need to get their lycanthropy cured, so remove disease is a thing that I cannot yet do, nor do we have the funds to really deal with that. So what does the party want to do with that?
Well, no.
I suggest we leave this battle first.
Absolutely.
In AD&D, the lycanthropy only takes effect if you lose 50% or more of your hit points.
Oh, nice. Okay. So yeah, then
Correct.
we'll just leave. I don't have.
Problem
Right.
solved.
We're just going to run away.
You want to cut
Stay
through
behind
that
if you want to, or go. This will be here for 20 minutes. Actually, it'll be here
Fair
for-
enough. I mean, I wasn't talking about me just attacking them. Well, come on. Surely we can take care of these guys.
Wandering monsters do not give XP. This is an unnecessary
well.
fight.
Fair
Yes,
enough.
they do. You get XP from wandering monsters. Whatever made you think that?
What if that guy's got a 10,000 gold piece ruby in his pocket?
Well, I mean, he doesn't have any treasure on him, but if you guys wish to stay, I mean, if you guys are just trucking, we'll just wrap up for the evening.
We should truck, I think, honestly.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, I have no problem staying and fighting, but there's no way around. Is there? Because I don't see a way around this web unless we're
I
circumventing the
super
law.
chatted how it will go is we'll all miss for 3 rounds, and then we'll all be nearly dead and get lycanthropy.
I mean, I wasted a perfectly good 19 in that 10. So
You did pay for that, so the customer is always right, guys. And
It's true. We already contracted it.
unless anybody wants to outbid him. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll happily take lycanthropy.
I got silver arrows.
Oh, you do have silver arrows?
Yes, sir.
Well, your target is immobile, so if you wish to plonk one a few times and slay it, average damage for an arrow, average hit points. It's going to take you 5 arrows to slay it. 5 silver arrows.
I'm not going to fool with that if everybody wants to haul ass.
Okay. So let's see here. We'll give that 50-50 odds. as you are residing at your tavern, wherever you go,
Mhm.
The cheap place.
the very cheap place, yeah. There's a fellow. He's a tradesman. He comes in and he kind of standing next to him is a captain of the city watch of Greyhawk, and the fellow's looking around and he points at your group and nudges. And the captain of the watch approaches you and says, "Pray tell, lords, did you engage in a battle in the alleyway between Cooper Street and Rope Avenue at or near noontime today?"
Involving us
Honestly,
being
that
attacked.
was a long time ago.
I'm sorry, there was some crosstalk. Doomsword, what'd you say?
I said, I'm
Go
sorry,
ahead, Doomsword.
that was a long time ago.
And what did Outlier say?
Involving us being attacked by were rats.
Yes, sir, indeed, it was.
That was in our own defense.
Well, of course, sir. There were were-rats, a threat
And?
to this very city.
Mm-hmm.
You dispatched 2 of them. I am told that 3 of the creatures changed into the form of 2 human men and 1 human lady. They were quite unclothed when they fled, but such is not our concern. You have done a service for the city of Greyhawk, and as the bounty stands, you all hereby awarded 25 gold pieces.
Thank you, sir.
He and a fellow comes forward, opens a small strong box, and plunks out bags of gold to each of you.
Woohoo! Drinking money.
He snaps his heels together and says, "Please not to excess, sir. Have a good evening."
Always responsibly.
And yeah, have a designated footman, sir. And he leaves.
Later, Link Boy crashes, kill hundreds.
Operate your sedan chair drunk.
Only you can stop sedan chair accidents.
It's those drunken coach drivers, man. I told you we need to have speed limits.
Okay, so we will leave it there. You now, at the very least, have a night in a fairly decent inn covered and your meals and everything. And people are kind of looking at you with a degree of appreciation as you sit there in the dancing werebear.
Drinking it up. Hooray!
So thank you very much, folks, for watching. Sometimes that's how it goes in our game. Sometimes there's just bumming around town, gearing up sort of things. Sometimes there's daring do and sword play. Sometimes there's a combination of both, like you get tonight. I want to thank everybody out there in the audience. Thank you again, Corion and Doomsword, for your super chats. Very nice. Doomsword, you got outbid by Corion by a whole penny. Big thanks to Volcano God. Hope you're feeling better, buddy. Really do. And we'll see all you folks who tune in just to watch this Advanced Dungeon and Madness. But I hope you're here every night because we always got something fun. Tomorrow night, we're going to be back. Kyle is still out taking care of his little ones, which is awesome because, as I said before, we're a pro-dad, pro-family channel. Pro-moms, too. We're ecumenical like that. But we will talk about more Expedition of the Bear. We will talk about more Expedition from the Barrier Peaks tomorrow night. We will talk about more on Thursday night. Friday night, we'll be playing some Gamma World. And we'll kind of wear it a little bit. So you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you to my players. Thank you to my audience. Love you all. See you next time.
Hell
Peace.
yeah, guys.
A great one.